Hey guys, in this video I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to set up your Nintendo Switch 2 with the dock and hook it up to your TV. In this example I'm using my Roku TV. What we want to do to hook up our Switch 2 dock to our TV is plug it in first. So down here I have it plugged in there with the adapter, and then the other end we're going to plug in to the back of our dock. So I'm going to turn that around, and then this back part comes off really easy. You can just pop it off. And then I'm going to plug in the USB Type-C right in this area here. So I'm going to plug that in. And now we're going to get out the HDMI cord that came with our Switch to plug that end in right here. So one end of our HDMI cord plugged in to the dock. If you would like, you can directly connect your Switch 2 dock into the internet with an Ethernet port. You can also just have it connected over Wi-Fi. It's your choice with that. We want these cords to be running through the back here below this little notch, and once we have the cords like this, we can put the back onto the dock. And you can see once we snap that back on, we want the cords to be coming out of the bottom corner area right here, so we're good with that. Now at this point, I'm going to take the other end of the HDMI cord and plug it into the back of my TV. Back behind my TV, I have HDMI 1, 2, and 3. For this example, I'm going to plug it into HDMI 3, so I'm going to take this and plug it into there. Now we have power plugged in and we have our HDMI plugged in, so now I'm going to put the Switch 2 into the dock. So we'll do a little cable management later, but in the meantime, I'm going to put the Switch 2 into the dock. We can just slide it in just like that. We get a little indication here and there showing that we are now plugged in with our dock and good to go with that. Now on my Roku TV, I need to make sure that I have the HDMI input in one of the apps options over here. If you don't have your HDMI options in your apps area, you can go down to your settings, then go over and down to TV inputs. And then whatever HDMI that you had plugged your Switch 2 into, and just make sure that you have that HDMI added to your home screen. And actually, I'm gonna rename this one to make it a little bit more straightforward. So I'm gonna go down and click OK on the Nintendo option. And now that I have that named as Nintendo, going back to my home screen and going down to the apps area, I can now see that Nintendo, that's that HDMI 3 option. So I'm gonna click OK on that. And if you're not getting a signal, what you wanna do, click the power at the top so it turns back on. We're now set up and good to go with our Nintendo Switch 2 connected up to our TV. For your Roku TV, it might also ask you if you want to edit the name and icon. If you click OK on that, can name it. It's already named it for me for the Switch 2. So I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna select the video game icon there. At this point, it's also a good idea to disconnect your Joy-Cons from the dock and start using them so that you can use them as a controller with the dock and select whatever you want on the screen.